I want to preface this with I kind of knew this dev for a while, not like personally, but I played one of their games many years ago. They had this first-person shooter game that was really cool. I saw this on Twitter the other day, and I really wanted to speak to it and give the director's cut, the game doctor, what's actually happening here, the dissected version, as we always do. And I thought this was really cool. So we actually played one of their games a couple months ago, Kill Knight. Kill Knight was very cool high score chaser. Making a successful high score chaser on today's market is also very hard. We can go into the deep aspects of it. So just that as a success alone. It did have some blind spots, just like every game, and some like very obvious, like not bar of the market stuff as well, which really irked me personally. So things like reloading sounds and animations when you're low on ammo and stuff just irked the hell out of me. That being said, the game was really cool. Anyway, the point being here, as I saw this on Twitter, and the interesting part here is you're going to see how the things we talk about for years and years when we're trying to educate the industry is going to shift. The industry is going to shift, and more people are going to realize that they need a person that is plugged in, that understands design, that understands the consumers, and can help. They are going to, no matter what, right? We've talked about this for years. This is the work. And if you guys don't know me, who I am, Game Doctor, I coach and empower developers to be ahead of the market and make their ideas the best it can be through the power of conversation. Do I tell them what to do? Am I like a consultant that's like, you need to do this? No. Well, I lay out all the roadmap in front of you and say, hey, if you keep following this path, this is where you get. Is that good? This is what we could do when we have powerful conversations to empower you and give you the tools to create better games, the games that you want to make, but better. Its version that is its truest form, and you will see that for yourself, not me telling you. It's very powerful. Anyway, so what you're going to see here is people bumping into walls and learning these things. Everything that I have to teach, right? That I can power level. A lot of my clients say it's like you power level. You teach us what we're going to run into and learn in the next couple years, but instead in a couple hours, right? They power level. They feel enlightened, right? And we do this very methodically, right? Through the power of conversation, right? Nobody wants to be barked at or told what to do. Anyway, so even without me, you will eventually learn. People are going to learn, right? Every other art industry has gone through this process. We're still very infant, and we have been proven that we need people that understand, that empower us, and that have our back and our best interests, right? Athletes have coaches, writers have editors, right? Eventually, more and more games are going to have a game doctor, right? Someone that understands the market inside and out, that just sits there. They can't fake it. They digest it all day, 10 hours a day. You want somebody fighting like that for you. Anyway, so what happens is eventually you will run into those. You know, I always say it takes some people longer to get to their dead ends. You will learn this eventually. And you can see this dev running into that and starting to run into this idea, right? What is going on here? There is a shift, and they're starting to talk about it. Yes, they're still a little bit misguided and stuff, but this is what it looks like. They have to work it out, right? They don't have the answers, so that you can see them working it out here, and I thought it was interesting. I didn't read the whole thing, but let's go over some of it. We'll talk about it as well. Gamers are game designers now, and that should terrify you. One, it's not terrifying, and two, this is a big blind spot already. They're going the right direction, but you can still see they're misled. Despite the tools being better than ever, absolutely, this is every art industry. Movies are going through the same thing where they're feeling cheaper and cheaper because we have more and more tools, so like people and creators can get away with more and be more and more lazy and make less decisions. So they're coming out samey and cheap feeling, right? Like Marvel movies, right? Green screen heavy and all of this stuff. We don't have to, you know, we're gonna make it more like one-dimensional, and then just post-production put whatever we want. We have to make less decisions. They don't look like they used to, right? Anyway, yes, very true. Making successful video games has become near impossible. False. You guys are just misled. You're going to soon, Sean here, are going to soon realize that you're going the right direction and you're realizing things, but you're still off, right? And this is the natural way to go through that process, right? You're being taught that it's impossible and you can't figure this out, and it turns out actually that developers don't know how to make good games. They know how to make the games that they like. They know how to make the games and copy the games that were successful, but they don't know what it takes to make a good game. There's actually pillars, and we always break those pillars. This is how we predict where games are going to land before they happen. Just look around. Constant layoffs, catastrophic flops. I can't really speak to that, the business side, but it is sad. Endless parade of remakes and sequels. We talk about this all the time. Shout outs to Triple I Initiative for just being a advertisement banner for already successful games and a bunch of sequel launches. It's not a pipeline or marketing problem. Correct. This is a game design problem. Also correct, Sean. Also correct. It is a game design problem. You guys are wrapped up in your own heads and you don't have the right tools or the right people on your team to get out of your own blind spots. Blind spots are things that you cannot see, but if you saw it, you would avoid it. Just like a car in your blind spot, right? If you don't see it, you're going to hit it. And if you see it, you're going to do something about it. Having somebody that can pull those blind spots in front of you, you will start to develop empowered. And everyone runs into these blind spots. Everyone has them. Every human has them. I have them. I have my own coach, right? And here's the part no one wants to say out loud. Your audience is now full of game designers. False. This will lead you to a blind spot, but you are getting to the right direction. Even the most normal players, casuals, weekend warriors, and lapsed fans over the past decades absorb so much design commentary, criticism, false, and content that they now think they know more than developers. False. There is some DNA of truth down there, but you're dancing over it and you're misled. But you are getting closer. Yes, you're onto something, Mr. Sean. Honestly, they're not entirely wrong. Correct. You're onto something. Again, or you can just lock into the game doctor work and you'll be ahead of this for years, and you have this conversation like 5 years ago. Game design has become a hobby in and of itself. People are enjoying talking about games more than actually playing them. It depends on the game, but yes. Take YouTube channels. It's also because we like make them less fun and more mechanic-y, right? More heavy. Take YouTube channels like Brace Yourself, Pirates, Digital Foundry, like it or not, they're ground zero for real-time, large-scale design discourse. I won't speak to that. Their comment sections are full of arguments, debates, blah, blah, blah. Again, this will lead you down a small conversation. Most games released today are simply iterations, derivatives, well, of course, of what came before. These games are easy to digest, and when something's easy to understand, it's even easier to rip apart. No, so this is actually going to lead you, and you're going to see that this all has a common denominator that we're still dancing around. Gamers might not know how to build an RPG system, but they sure as hell know how to compare yours to another one. Of course, they're consumers. That's what they do. That's their job, right? Like, you're saying the sky is blue, right? Consumers consume, and if they've tasted better, they're going to compare yours to better. This is going to start to lead you somewhere as you hear this out loud. Right? Gamers are always going to do what they do. They digest way more than you. They're consuming, right? You create and we consume. If we consume something delicious, we're going to have something else. And if it's less delicious, we're going to compare it to that because that's all they have the language for. Hey, I tasted better. Why are you not like them? Oh, I see you made a burger. I've had this excellent burger. Why are you not more like them? Hey, that burger had online support. Why do you not, right? They don't understand the process. They don't understand what it takes, right? They don't understand design, but they understand feelings. Look at the recent Avowed. Fine game, solid fundamentals. Don't use this word because none of you devs understand fundamentals, and I'm sorry that comes off aggressive, but it is. I play all the games under the sun, and maybe 5% out of 100 games, maybe 5% have their fundamentals together. You guys don't have fundamentals together. That is the point of why you're failing, actually. It's not algorithms or anything like that. Torn apart because gamers remember Oblivion physics and NPC dynamics from 2006. The archive is always open. The comparisons are brutal and no game escapes the wrath. You think graphics will save you? Our game runs on Unreal Engine 5. Cool, but once players walk through the beautiful rendered door, they're not going to care about Nanite or Lumen. They're going to dig into your systems. Yep, of course. You guys are trying to cover it up with stuff, and we're saying, hey, there's fundamentals that are missing. Why is it easier to walk through a door in another game and not easier here? Why does something have more friction here and not there? Right? Your choices, your intent, and tear them apart. Because you guys are thinking dev brain, right? All of this stuff that you're working in. I can't tell you how many clients come to me and I said, yeah, I see the question you're asking here, right? And then I guide them, right? They go, yeah, but do you think this or this and what's gonna, and I said, none of those matter. The consumer will not notice any of that, right? You're having a conversation here and you're going back and forth and we're wasting time. We're not going to notice that. We're not going to notice, right? Sometimes we'll notice feeling, right? But a lot of times we're just too wrapped up in our dev lingo and our dev talk, and we think that we all consume that as well, right? Assassin's Creed Shadows looks stunning. Still might merely break even because it's being compared to previous titles. Again, it's complicated. That's just our language, right? That's our language. They don't understand better. They don't have other language to use, right? Comparison is easy. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Bad game design, unacceptable. Good game design, the bare minimum, you still lost. Not true. Great game design is the only path to success. Great game design helps, but your fundamentals need to be there. We've proven this. It's no longer optional. It's the cost of entry. Yes, there is a cost of entry, and you guys are not learning the right things, the pillars to making a good game, right? That's the truth. That's the hard truth. But it's very easy to start having that conversation. You must invest in and empower your game designers. Invest in yourself, right? Learn what makes a good game so you can take your idea and say, oh my God, that makes a lot of sense, right? Push for design that's innovative. Not necessarily true, right? Innovation is always the key. Innovation is key, but even if you're going to do something and not reinvent the wheel that much, you have to do it well. And a lot of you guys do not do that. You miss fundamentals. You miss the bar of the market. We'll talk about that. Interesting, deep, considered. Spend the time, burn the calories, bleed for the ideas. It's so funny that you see people like do this, but then they won't get the help they need, right? That's the level of effort. They think just grinding away on code or something is going to level them up. And that's the level of effort it takes nowadays. Yeah, it does take effort. You're trying to do something well, right? I know AI will not save you. Game design is driven. Okay, cool. So you can see here that Sean is onto something, right? He's like, wait, our consumers know stuff. And we're kind of lost, right? We're just locked in. And wait a second, our consumers are trying to tell us things. Yes, we talk about this all the time. So the consumers, what they do know well is feelings, right? They know what they've eaten, and they know what they've eaten better. What happens here is we create a bar of the market. We talk about this all the time. There is a bar of the market, as I call them, the game doctor work. And the bar is the new standard, right? When a great game comes out and becomes popular, it creates a standard oftentimes, right? Standards can be so small, like a reactive HP bar, right? You could play a deck builder now, and now deck builders come, and when somebody gets hit, there's like, it's showing the intent, it's showing how much damage and health they're going to have left over. The bar is going to kind of decrease over time and not just disappear and be calculated, right? How money collects. There is a standard that became very, very good, and if you do it worse now, everyone goes, huh? Wait, it was so good here. Why would you make a worse version? I'll give you another example. One of my favorites, when these Vampire Survivor games were going super popular here, and chatting with the Brotato dev, old friend, Blobfish, we came up with a system saying, hey, why don't you just like hold left click and you can just swap it to like aim, and then if you don't hold left click, it auto aims, right? And now what happens here is we created a standard, right? It's better than every other game. So you just hold left click if you want to aim, and you don't, right? And you have options or whatever. Anyway, so then I played, let's just say, a plethora of other Vampire Survivor games over the following months, all right? And they all made it worse, right? I played games, a few of them, where it's auto aim, and then I go into a menu and toggle manual aim. Now, you can see that it's not up to me, and I'm not calling it bad design. The market is calling it bad design because there was created better. Because we created better. We have better out there. All we had to do is copy them, right? We had to copy the bar of the market. Somebody did the hard work and created better, so you are by that definition making it worse. You're doing a worse version. Now imagine multiplying that. That's such a small thing. Imagine that's infesting our games. We're not even at the bar of the market. Imagine that for a second, right? Imagine making your game so we taste it, we try it, the consumers, which they understand because they play these things, play something, and the idea we love. Your ideas we love. That's why we download it. That's why we're trying it. But imagine you designed everything, even the UI and stuff, under the market. Worse than what they've been enjoying, right? This is how your games fall behind. Now, Esty, how do you keep up with that, right? How are we supposed to do that? You can't. You could try, but one of the common things that I hear is we don't have enough time. You never have enough time. You're busy making games. You do not have the time. Writers have editors. Athletes have coaches, right? The other art industries will tell you there is rules to making art. There's actually rules that you need to know so that you can also break them on purpose. This also leads to player conditioning, which players also know very well. They don't understand this. They don't think about it, but they feel it. Player conditioning is another thing that your consumers, your audience, they're not designers, but they understand because they feel it. They feel things. They also understand player conditioning. They don't actively think about it. They're not going to go, oh my God, it's just because I'm conditioned. They're going to say, hey, this feels bad. What is player conditioning? If I have a controller and I say, hey, where's the jump button? You're going to have a preconceived idea of where the jump button is, right? We've kind of adopted it. We've been conditioned, right? And you're going to be like, oh, my jump button is usually here when I play games, right? And maybe somewhere else, right? Maybe. Now, if you break player conditioning, you break those rules, you have to do it very, very methodically and on purpose, because then otherwise your audience will react. They say, hey, this is bad. Why is this like this? Right? Now imagine like going to make a new microwave on the market and you didn't study what makes a good microwave. Oh, this is a lot of you, right? It sounds ridiculous, but this is most of you. Hey, I don't understand what makes a good microwave. I'm just going to wing it. It's my passion project, right? It's for me. It's for me. Then it comes time to open the curtains and all of a sudden it's not for you anymore. It's for the consumer, right? And so then you release it and they go, what the hell is this? And then you try to hot fix and band-aid because it's for them. You're trying to make them happy. Now you're vulnerable. Right? And now let's say your microwave came out and you have to sit there and hand crank the sucker, right? And it's just worse. So the consumers go, hey, you should be like them. And then we say, hey, look, they're just going to criticize us and compare us to other people. Well, that's all the language that they have to communicate that the design is bad and under the bar of the market. Why are these microwaves just streamlined and I don't have to worry about it and yours I have to crank? A lot of your games are like this, almost all of them. 9 out of 10 games, if not more, are fundamentally flawed. We're not even talking design and being ahead of the market yet. This is the beginner conversation. This is the beginner conversation, is just making sure that you have the tools to be caught up to making a good game. And if you're going to break the pillars, doing it methodically and having that conversation, is it okay to break here? We're going to come up with something better. Right? Or, hey, we're going to do it to get this across in our game because our game is going for this. And what's the repercussions of that? You can have those conversations, and this usually is only an hour or two, and it will change the course of your game. It is not algorithms and stuff like that. And no, your audience does not know better. This is a trap. This is what we keep trying to teach each other, is that they know best. And this is why we fall into early access. They don't understand design. I don't know how to make this clear, and I don't know how we're so lost. They do understand feelings. They do understand that. They do understand when your game is below market. They do understand that very well as well. Do you think when the iPhone has a press conference, right, and they're telling the consumers, hey, this new iPhone has 3 lenses, blah, 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 blah. Do you think the consumers were asking for that? No. They're going to pioneer. They're going to teach their audience what they want. They're going to teach them better, right? I had a beautiful game. One of my favorite examples is Tiny Rogues, and it was a successful game. And when I found it, it was actually really good already. I gave it a lot of praise. I'm like, oh my God, the bullet hell stuff is really good. The rest of the game was mediocre. I would say mid, but the enemy design and all of this stuff, it had such a cool space. I loved it for being a room-based bullet hell, even though it was just, the rest of it was mid, but mid with cool design, still good, right? Still above average. It was really cool. I gave it a lot of credit. And I remember working with the Tiny Rogues dev, Ruby dev, and at the time he was against the work and didn't really believe in it, and that was totally cool. And I said, you'll come around, right? We'll have conversations. And I guess people, when they hear Game Doctor work, again, because this is not normal in the market yet, if you hear editor to a writer and you've been around forever and you guys are like famous writers and you've been writing forever, you'd be like, who the hell do you think you are wanting to edit my book? What, I'm doing something wrong, right? We would be the same way, but they've been around for so long, they get it, right? They're smart enough to know they need it, right? So you think somebody's going to come along and, oh my God, it's like my ego, right? Like, oh, so I'm not doing something right? Who do you think you are? No, you're actually doing everything great, but you're focused on the big picture and stuff like that, and there's going to be little things falling through the cracks, right? They're there to empower you, not tell you what to do. Anyway. So one of the things that we did is we put this to the test, and this one always holds a special place in my heart because this is a game that fully believed in the work, and it was already a good game. It was already a good game. It wasn't the talk of the town, but it was doing good. It was well, right? And this is a game, and we tackled it with such ferocity and such momentum that I never had time to like worry. And it wasn't until like towards the end when this big update that took like 6 months, right? Big rework. It wasn't until it was about to come out that was the first time I thought, oh my God, wait, for the first time I thought, what if this is not true? What if this doesn't work, right? I started doubting myself. I knew it would work, but I started doubting myself. What if it didn't, right? We would be the laughing stock. What if we took a good game and then rework the whole thing? Poured so much work, this person that believed in me and now feels empowered, leading. Imagine it just did terrible. I would be shattered. But I didn't think about that till it was about to release, right? Anyway, so that client ended up saying, oh my God, you know, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And the next day, everything snapped together. They saw design differently. They said they couldn't unsee it. It was like being in the Matrix. They couldn't unsee it. That's empowered conversation, right? That's having powerful conversation. We ended up reworking everything and adding new content and doing something that the audience has never tasted before. Like iPhone is going to convince you that you want 3 lenses, right? They're going to show you new and better. But you need to fully understand, right? Not just better. You need to fully understand what people enjoy. You need to fully understand what the market wants and what they enjoy. So that way, when you break it, because remember, doing something new is something that they haven't really tasted before. So it does come with risk. And this is why you hear devs, oh, see, because they took risk. Why do you think that they copy other games and play it safe? Because they don't know how to create new powerfully. So you're going to run into red flags. Now, if you understand the market very, very well, and you do new because you know better than what they're eating now, you know what they want and you know how to deliver it better, you will be empowered. You will say, I know I'm going to drop something good. You'll have that. And you'll be in that space, that confidence, like, yo, we're going to show them. I will show them, right? So anyway, fast forward, the update drops. Prepared my client for all the reaction that our game designers, aka our consumers, are going to have, because they're going to react first because they're closer to children. They don't understand. They go off feelings. What is this change? What is this? It's all changed. It's all changed, right? Of course. And guess what? I prepared them for that. I prepared my client for that. Imagine being that far ahead that you even know how they're going to react. You know the reviews. You know what they're going to say. And I said, they're going to react first. Give them time. Give them time. I said, step away for like a week. A week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 1,000 concurrent, 2,000 concurrent, 3,000 concurrent. And people just kept playing. They wanted more. And now people say it's their favorite roguelike. Imagine dancing in that, taking your idea and saying, hey, where is this going to land? And how do I make this powerfully? And can this be powerful? And imagine having that conversation to know exactly where you're going to land. Imagine that space. I know this is not like the conversations you guys have right now. It's scary, right? And it's almost impossible, right? Where do they say this? Endless parade of remakes and sequels. It's the pipeline of marketing, criticisms. It's right there. It's scary. It's almost impossible to do, right? It's impossible to read. It's not true. It's not true. You guys are just not having the right conversations, and you don't have the right people to have your back, so you have your blind spots on, right? There is actually pillars to making a good game. If you guys don't believe me, I actually don't want you to just trust me. Come try us out. Come hang out, all right? We do this daily. I don't hide behind a shroud of old success and I'm like, well, look at my old success. I'm somebody that keeps trying to show up and fighting for you, right? We'll talk about where games are going to launch before they launch. Don't listen to these post-release gurus, right? Oh, it did really well, so let me explain why it did well. Oh, damn, this one did really bad, so let me explain why, right? And they sound really good because they have the results in front of them. Imagine having a conversation to know where a game's going to launch and where it's going to land before it happens, right? And so then you're able to see it. You're able to see, wow, this is actually very obvious now. Maybe it's not so random. So I really wanted to talk about this because this is what it looks like to organically start to get to this process. It'll still take them a couple of years, but you're going to organically start to see that all the things we're talking about are true. You need to understand your designers so that you can teach them what is new and better, understanding what they get, right? And this is the conversations that my clients dance in. This is the conversation, right? This is how the market is doing it. Well, this is how you just do it a little bit better. Right? I love to go back to like the Slay the Spire and the Perfected Strike, right? Like it's just, I love to give tangible examples like Perfected Strike, do extra damage for all the strikes in your deck. And we create a chore for the buyer, right? We create a chore and they're used to it. So that's what they eat. They're used to it. No game is doing it better. So then you go in your deck, you look at all your strikes, see how many strikes you have. But once somebody does it better, right? People around the game doctor work, things like that. It's like, hey, how do we take chore away? That's another pillar. Don't put chores for no reason, right? And so now we have design where it's just going to tell the player it's going to do the work. The product's going to do the work, and they're going to start to taste better and say, oh my God, anytime you don't do that, it's going to taste worse, right? It's like the bad microwave with a crank. It's below the market. We're going to move the market. Dance in that conversation. Deliver powerfully. Where is the market at, right? Have you guys asked that question? Do you guys have anyone that has your back that is telling you the bar of the market, or are you digesting games all day so you know where the bar of the market is? And if you are, that's wonderful. And if you don't have that time, find someone that does. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you guys are looking for more information, if you're just looking for conversation, if you're just looking to find out more, make sure you check us out. Make sure you shoot me a DM. I'm here for you. I am your glorified cheerleader, and I want your success, right? I'm the consumer that is annoyed and trying to help you, and I'm somebody that's fighting for you 10 hours a day and digesting that market for you. So hey, be sure to get in contact.